What's good? What's good? Sorry for the wait. Things happen over here in the podcasting world. We got a special guest today. We're going to dive right into it. Wrestling Shoot! What's good? What's good? I am Jesse with the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Joining me as always, James. And we got special guest, man, Cornell Gunter. What is good? Hey, yo. I see you slapping. I see you getting the goosebumps. How about that Raw last night, man?
No. Before we get to Raw, first off, thank you guys so much for having me. I really do appreciate being on this platform. You guys are amazing. It's different hearing the show intro from my phone versus hearing it through my headphones because I'm actually on the show, so it's actually pretty dope. So again, thank you guys. I'm very happy to be here. Raw, honestly, I think was probably one of the best Raws in the last decade or so.
Dude.
Man, I think start to finish was hot, like super duper hot.
Amazing.
And clearly, the go home segment, right? Rock and Cody. That right there, I think everything aligned perfectly. I don't know if they made it rain last night in Chicago, but the rain was great because you had little puddles of water, so Cody's shirt was all wet and soaked. But then it's like after Rock was talking, after Rock was talking, you see the cold, hot, the breath, you see the breath off, going out. So man, I'll tell you right now, if this is any indication of where we're going for 2024 for WWE, I am sitting front row.
Yeah, man. It was incredible. Look, I haven't seen a wrestling show. And this goes for WWE, AEW, everybody. I haven't seen a wrestling show this hot from start to finish in a long, long time. This is what I missed in pro wrestling, man.
3 hours.
3 hours, dude. Yeah. And this just had me glued to my TV. It's crazy, man. It takes you back to your childhood.
The attitude era days, just with everything, like you said, the rain was a nice touch. Whether they made it rain or if it wasn't, or if it was just generally raining.
They hit him with that Matrix theatrics.
Yep.
That's what they did. I already know, man. They just cue the rain. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful the way it was done. It was believable.
Yes.
Like you felt what they were trying to portray on TV, and yeah, it was just so good, man. So good. But listen, man, you're a jack of all trades. We were just having this conversation off air. You got so many job titles. Look, global creator, influencer, marketer, and the what? I'm just gonna say 2K Next Makers because the leader, the booker of 2K Next Makers. I don't really know what to say on this one, but dude, how do you find time in your day to do anything? And look, all of this came after a career in WWE.
Yes.
You used to work for EA.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of things about Cornell that I don't think the people understand. And I want to dive into that today, man. How do you find the time?
Honestly, man, I'm hungry, right? And I'm hungry just to be good at whatever I do. And I care tremendously a lot. Like Next Makers, influencers, creators, like those guys and those girls, they're like my family. You guys, of course, are like my family. And it's important to me that I work hard. And I think, that you guys see me working hard because I'm a reflection of, the folks that you work with, right? And I mean, every single day, it's nonstop. It's nonstop. And that's just how I pride myself. If I sit still for too long, I go crazy. And I learned that at WWE. I'm telling you, I learned that at WWE. I learned that, working under Triple H and Shawn Michaels and seeing how they did and watching everything that they've done from, the rehearsals of putting together entrances or shooting pre-tapes or vignettes or, filming the Boneyard match. Like a lot of things that I did at WWE really shaped the worker that I am and really, as Braun Breaker would say, put that dog in me.
Well, you can definitely tell, man. It reflects not only in Twitter and the Twitter personality, but you're amazing, man. You communicate with the community that always reached out. You're always good to people. We see you behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So a lot of these people don't understand what you do for us creators, and it's incredible, man. First of all, we just had a bunch of giveaways on the podcast, and thanks to you for hooking up, the community and hooking up the channel and being good to us. And it's incredible, man. What exactly did you do at WWE? Can you give everybody a background on what you did in WWE?
So I was blessed and fortunate to be a producer at WWE, where I worked with a team called the Content Innovation Lab, right? Whereas we had this humongous table that probably weighed 3 tons and had the biggest WWE logo I've ever seen. But also within our office space in our area, we had a big regular ring that had a green screen around it. So we were at WWE to bring larger than life and crazy ideas to NXT, right? So what we did was that we filmed pre-tapes, we filmed NXT TV, we did like recap packages, the WWE PC account that basically gave all the short form documentaries to long form documentaries. So we also gave you the Matt Riddle documentary, the Tommaso Ciampa documentary, the Tegan Knox documentary. You know, we also work on the JB, which is like the prime targets, which is probably going on right now in NXT. So man, we filmed everything like tremendously top to bottom. And, you know, it was a lot, and I'm talking 16-hour days every single day. Sometimes you work on Christmas, or you work the day after Christmas and the day before Christmas. But, you know, it was everything I needed and more. Like, you know, I got to film the Undertaker's Boneyard match with my crew. And we got to the site at like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't get home till 8 o'clock in the morning. And you know, I slept for almost 20 hours straight, but that is one of the biggest accomplishments. I mean, I've done other cinematic matches, Gargano and Ciampa, the Adam Cole cinematic match, and all those kind of things as well. So it was a lot of work that went into it, a lot of creative stuff too that went into it, and it was great all around. I made absolutely life-changing and amazing experience.
So when you were working WWE, was this before you started jumping into the video game industry, or were you doing EA and all that before?
Yeah, so I came out of college. I was supposed to go play professional ball in Puerto Rico. I tore my quad completely. I thought I was Triple H. So I was volunteering at EA, doing some stuff as I was doing my rehab, and I was talking with the team, and I was like, "Hey, I'm almost, I'm a couple months out, I'm coming." And then as I got closer to being able to get back and walk and working, and I realized the team was going to move on for me and all that. So I started talking with EA, and EA was like, "Hey, we love, your thought process and your creativity. You want to come work for us?" I was like, "Sure. Hell yeah." So then I went there and I was working with the mobile teams on Madden Mobile, NBA Live Mobile, FIFA Mobile. And I did that for a good amount of time. And then I switched over to marketing and branding to market and brand and do the brand stuff for those mobile titles. Wow. Then I switched over to Madden and helped with Long Shot. Then I switched over to NBA Live, and then I switched over to the dev role of being a live ops producer, where I was putting like in-game assets and like clothing, shoes, socks. I was doing rating updates, doing live events and all those kind of things. So that was a lot. And then it was crazy because Up, Down, Down ended up getting. They previously had an agreement with EA Sports that I ended up actually working in. Because I don't know if people remember the classic UFC days where they used to play UFC in the closet and all those kind of weird things that they used to do. So, I was always a big wrestling fan. And Xavier and I were always great. That's my brother. And I was like, dude, like, why don't you, like, I can get you in contact people at EA. Why don't we figure this out? So long story short, the UFC team got in contact with them. They flew all the way down to Orlando, signed a Game Changer deal, which was great for them. And then, honestly, I was bringing WWE talent to the studio all the time. So we go to WrestleMania New Orleans. Ricochet just debuts, and we're at the hotel talking. Tom Phillips, I love you so much, Tom, was like, "Hey, like, why don't you come work at WWE?" I said, "Tom, y'all don't want me. I'm a mark. Like, I'm a fan. Like, you don't want me for real. Like, dude, also, like, I'm annoying." He was like, "No, I really think that this could work." And I was like, "Shoot, okay." So the long story short, it got rolling like quick. And next thing I know, I had an offer letter from WWE in my email. And I remember I printed it out. I took it to my mother. So growing up, my mom and I used to always watch wrestling together. Like, that was like our thing. And my great grandma Rose, rest her soul, she would always have Monday Night Raw on, and she had a hospital bed in her room, but she had like Mountain Dews and all these things. I was like 6 years old drinking Mountain Dews, like caffeine, trying to stay awake watching The Undertaker. And now I would just fall asleep underneath the bed. But my mom like changed my life when it came to wrestling. Like she saved up so much money to take me to my first show out here in Orlando. And we were like all the way, we were the last row in which it's now called the Kia Center, but used to be called TD Waterhouse here in Orlando. We were the last row up there. And I was scared. I was, oh, brother, the pyro was coming. I was like, ah. So then, long story short, she ended up saving up again. We had front row seats. And I remember it was like The Rock, right? It was like Attitude Era. And it changed my life. And like she'll be at work, and she used to work at Time Warner, it's like WCW. So we'll be at work, and I'll get home from school, and like I'll be like talking on AIM to my mom while she's at work about wrestling. So man, it was just like that moment with WWE was like full circle for me. And EA was cool. They understood like I was going, but then two, it was just like I needed to go. I need to go live my dream. So I was thankful.
That's awesome, man. What a story, you know, to grow up a wrestling fan and then to get that offer from WWE to go and work as a producer on NXT. Not very many people could say that.
Tom Phillips of all people.
That's
news to me.
Tom Phillips is my guy, and I remember, like, you know, so we had many people coming out of the studio. It was Tom Phillips. It was a dude by the name of Tamario who worked on the Triple H hand in hand. You know, we had Ember Moon back then. You know, Paulo was there. Ricochet was there prior to coming to WWE. You know, we had the likes of just everybody. Like, we also had, like, you know, Makazi, you know, Sasha Banks doing stuff back then. I'm sorry, Mercedes Moné doing stuff back then. So it was a lot of wrestling stuff I was infusing into EA. Like, yo, like, it's wrestling. Like, come on. And they're like, what? And I was like, y'all just don't understand. Whatever. And then, and I think for me, the coolest thing was like, man, when I got to WWE, it was like, it wasn't like I was just like a number on the board, man. It was cool. My first day at work, I'm sitting there on my computer and I have nothing to do. I finished onboarding, but I'm trying to look busy. So all I'm doing is just looking through old wrestling videos on YouTube. I act like I'm doing research and writing nothing down. And I hear a voice, Shawn Michaels, like, hey, can you come help me with this TV? I'm like, I know Shawn Michaels not talking to me. So he comes over to my office, knocks on the glass, like, hey. I was like, yes, sir. And all I had to do, all I had to do was put it on HDMI 1. But from that day on, Shawn was like my buddy, my dog. Like anytime he needed stuff for the TV, he came to me. So I felt extremely needed at WWE from day one.
Oh, that's incredible. Shawn Michaels the GOAT, bro.
Oh, that is all day, every day, yeah. Twice on Sunday.
Yeah. He's the GOAT, man. Yeah. Hey, I got a question in the chat real quick, man. Joe's asking if you were involved in the Firefly Funhouse match.
Oh, yeah.
You were?
Yeah, we all were.
Okay.
And it was filmed in the warehouse and everything at the PC. And the ring that they were wrestling in was it was in the main ring area, but one of the rings were in the CIO ring where I was working at. And like Bray stuff is like very, very sensitive to me. That is like one of the most beautiful and creative people ever had the experience. Like me and Josiah Williams were at SummerSlam when The Fiend debuted. And we were watching the rehearsal from, like, you know, Triple H and Vince and everybody putting together his entrance. And I remember we saw Wyndham backstage, and at the time, he had the little dark paint on and just a contact, and he put the mask on and everything. But nobody was like talking to him, but he was still just in the Fiend mode. And it was like that kind of dedication and love that he has for his art, honestly, was like beyond inspiring for everybody, not just, you know, talent, but anybody in the company. When Bray walked into the room, you knew hey, how you doing, Wyndham? Right? And he was like one of the most beautiful and kindest people that you will ever encounter. But yes, that's also something I hold very dear to my heart. So yes,
I love that match, man. I love Bray Wyatt. A lot of people that watch this channel, watch our podcasts or whatever, know me personally, know that when we lost Bray, man, that I don't think that I've been emotional when we've had losses in professional wrestling, but for some reason, man, Bray Wyatt hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking, I'm out mowing my lawn crying, you know, neighbors asking me what's going on, you know, and I try to tell them, you know, hey, you know, just lost one of my favorite professional wrestlers of all time, most creative mind that I've ever seen on TV. And, you know, it's rough talking about him, man. I'm so excited and nervous to see this documentary that's coming out for Bray Wyatt.
Bring out the tissues.
I know it's going to be good, dude, but I'm going to be a damn emotional wreck watching it. So, But I'm so excited just to see more Bray Wyatt stuff, you know?
I'll be honest, I didn't even watch the tribute promo that they aired because I just couldn't do it. I'm not ready. When I found out about it, I was sleeping. I was in New York doing some stuff for NBA, and I kept getting calls. I'm like, yo, I'm tired. Like, I don't feel good. Like, why the hell are y'all calling me? And then Josiah was like, I need to tell you something. And I was like, what's going on? And he was like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in a hotel. And he told me. And, I cried. I immediately cried. Like, that's a hero, right? And I always try to tell people, it's like, anybody that you look up, whether they're a celebrity or not, they're like a hero. And you watch them all the time. And you grow a connection to them, whether you know them in real life or not. It's like a bond, right? And it's like when that person gets taken away from you, you feel like you lost like your best friend or your closest family member because you've fallen in love with them so much that they become a part of you without even realizing that they're a part of you. And I think, not even going to talk about the JoJo element and the kids and all those kind of things. Man.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's just like that was a rough evening. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I can't imagine, man. I felt so bad for his family, and putting my feelings aside, like the family is obviously first and foremost, but I was so happy when he made his return too, man.
Yes.
Like I don't know. It was one of those things, man, where I was like, yes, he really was to me the best creative thing going in any professional. He was light years ahead of everybody else when it come to cinema, right? That term that we use in pro wrestling today, cinema. Like Bray Wyatt was it for me, man. And it's just, that's one guy that I wish I could have met and just picked his brain a little bit and just to hear some creative thoughts. You know what I mean?
Once in a lifetime character. He was, I remember when Jesse told me about this, or a couple of friends of ours told us about everything. And I remember how he felt. He's like he said, he's one of the biggest Bray Wyatt fans. I remember, I think you were bedridden because it was really, like you said, Cornell, it's someone, even if not meeting him, it's part of your life. It was like 10-year-old me when Eddie Guerrero passed away. That was very tough. The most recent before Bray was Kobe Bryant. That was right. I dropped to the floor. Yes. Just hearing the news like 10 in the morning. And man, I was just to the point of breaking down. And that's how Bray was. We'll never have a character like that. It's very hard. And then you think of, like you said, the family, you think of Mo Dallas and just everyone in general.
It's rough. And I remember when Kobe, on the Kobe tragedy, we were in rehearsals for the Rumble. And Keith Lee, I love him to death. Keith Lee and Riddle were sitting there. And one of them, I think it was Riddle. Riddle was like, yo, you heard about Kobe? And I was like, what? What's up? What's happening? He's like, God, he died in a helicopter. I said, bro, no effing way. Like, don't play like that for real. He's like, no, I'm serious. And then Keith was like, no, brother. He's serious. And then he showed me. I remember, like, bro, I got mad emotional. Keith, like, gave me a water. And it was just like, holy, I don't know, man. It's just like, again, like, you grow up watching people. You grow up, you really get connected to them. You get inspired by them. They influence some of the things that you do, whether it's hairstyle, whether the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you act. And it really becomes embedded into who you are, into your soul. And it's just like losing those people, man, it hurts. So, yeah. All those greats that you just talked about, unfortunately, like losing them hurt. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get off the depressing stuff right now. Yeah. I'm gonna hit up the super chat. Sean Smith from the Icons of the Ring sends that $5 super chat. Says, Cornell, you ever contemplate getting in the ring and actively wrestling?
Yes, I actually did start training at one point. I was training with Jason Cade. Jason Cade is an independent wrestler who now lives in LA, but he's trained, he helped train Bad Bunny. He does a lot of like celebrity training. He used to work under TJ Wilson. And he also helped as a producer for WWE with the women's side. So him and we were training. And then I was like, I'm going to do it. And then WWE was like, you good? Anyways, get back to work. I was like, yes, sir. So it's just one of those things where it was like, yes, I will, totally not a problem. But also I just realized that like, it's just one of things where like those guys and girls, that's the dedication. And I'm not going to be out here halfway training in front of my friends that I respect and adore more than anything, calling myself like, yeah, I train for wrestling. That's just a disservice to them. So, I did do it though. I took a lot of bumps, hit the ropes, got a lot of bruises on my back from the ring, from the ropes and all those kind of things. Took a lot of chops, took a lot of suplexes, took a nice little senton splash that knocked the air out of me from the Rudy to the Tootie. And it was an amazing experience. Like I like physicality type stuff, like basketball and all that. I was always the person that was like, the physical guard or the physical wing that was not scared of contact, was not afraid to get elbowed in the face and all those things. So like that kind of stuff excites me 9 times out of 10.
That's awesome, man. A symbol, let me talk to you. Yeah, another 2K next maker in the house. It says Cornell X-Men 97 has finally arrived. What do you think so far?
Well, first off, I want to say to Matt, the Assemble, if you guys do not know who he is, clearly I know, Jesse and James, I know you guys do, but if you guys don't know who he is, please follow him. I'm honored and privileged that we get to work with him. He's honestly one of the most nicest people that I've ever met, and very, very dedicated and very, very hardcore driven about his craft. But to your question, bro, I've rewatched the same 2 episodes 4 times. I promise you, if they put it on Disney Plus tonight at midnight, I'm gonna watch it about a couple times before I go to sleep. I love it. I'm an X-Men stan. Like Gambit is my favorite character. But also clearly, I love the Wolverine aspect. But I was happy that we could see Bishop and Cable, because on regular, the X-Men movies, they didn't have the licensing and all those things to showcase those characters. Outside Cable was on Deadpool. So I'm very, very, very excited for X-Men. I bought mini shirts already. Yeah. Just
there you go, Matt. One more 2K next maker, one of the greatest editors in the wrestling game community. Well, he's not in the wrestling game community, but he's going to get there. We've already had some talks. He's going to get there. Shy Guy in the house says, in where you are currently, what would you say is the biggest highlight and most important part of your journey?
Most important part of my journey was failing in a project that I had at WWE that was very, very important. I'm not going to disclose the project because it's some stuff that was like unreleased stuff. But I was tasked with the responsibility of handling stuff and getting stuff together and putting it all together. And I missed one step along the way that messed up the whole entire project. And I let my team down. And at that point in time, I never wanted to do that again. And looking at Triple H in his face and being like, all right, it's like, you never want to have somebody who's your idol, who's one of your heroes, look at you in a point of disappointment. But we're good now, so it's all good. So yeah, that was like early on when I was trying to figure out just who I was and what I want to do at WWE. Because WWE now, we had prior talks before I left EA to go do the producer job at the PC about me being a writer assistant for Raw or SmackDown. But at that point in time, I was like, man, no, I thought I knew everything. But failure, and for me, failure is just I did something wrong or I just forgot one thing. I call it a failure because I want to be perfect on everything that I do. Nobody's perfect, but I push myself just like everybody else does. So yeah,
I think it's important to have some failed moments in life. You learn lessons, you get back up, you do better, you grow from it,
you rebound.
Easy.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really important. James, you got something for him?
Yeah, do you have any stories, Cornell, in your WWE days? You probably have tons.
Man, he just told you that he helped out Shawn Michaels.
Well, yeah, but
what are we doing over here?
Yes, I know Shawn Michaels.
So I got 2. I'll give you a quick one. So there's an episode of NXT when Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole are fighting, right? Which we did the Prime Target, and they're about to do this, their send off, right? Because Cole's about to go ahead and contract about to run out. And there's a part that we're filming for Prime Target where, you got TV cameras and everything. We're live on NXT. And Jimmy Boyer, I said, hey, Corn, go over here, go go film it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm the shot is from the back, ramp up, and they're going at it. And nobody's over there, not even the crowd. And then you look over in the TV frame, and it's me with a checkered dress shirt on and a Sony camera, and I'm like, I'm in it, bro. Like I'm like filming, I'm in it, and then all you see is my body go, whoop, off out the frame because Blake, who unfortunately just finished up at WWE recently, yanked me out, and I hear Hunter, get off the Hunter going crazy with the headset, and I go back there and I'm like, I'm so apologetic, and him and Sean are laughing their behinds off, and I felt so embarrassed. But exactly. But it's always funny because Sean laughed about that for weeks, and even if I see him to this day, he still laugh about it. Also, crazy stories, Boneyard, man. So when we got out there, it was like 11 o'clock in the morning at the site. We started filming later on. We didn't finish at 8 o'clock in the morning. There was a part in the Boneyard match. If you guys go back and watch it, where Taker and AJ are fighting on the hearse. Comes down. Taker has like a little pickaxe thing, and he goes to go hit AJ, and AJ ducks and hits the glass. The original part where we filmed it, the pickaxe, I think slipped or something, and Taker hit it, and his forearm got immediately busted open because when he hit it, the glass ricocheted out. So he had a hole, in his forearm. It was leaking everywhere nonstop, and we had to stop shooting for 45 minutes. He was getting stitched up in real time, and then and that's what we had to do is they had to clean up all the blood, and we started filming, and we had to stop, clean up all the blood, and then keep on going. It was like that throughout the whole time. And the crazy thing is that it was his birthday once we finished. So like when we're done finishing, the next day it was his birthday. So everybody's all tired, like, hey, happy birthday, Mark, happy birthday, Tay. He's like, oh, thank you guys so much. And he's sitting, so he sits down, he takes off his gear, and he has like knee pads on, and he has like ice on his knees, rubbing like biofreeze on it, and he just sitting there talking like, man, AJ, that was great. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, like how? And honestly, even filming that, I'll go a little bit deeper. Even filming that, a lot of like after that whole Hearst part when he like split his forearm, a lot of that stuff was just straight through because he was not playing. He was like, no, let's go. AJ's like, are you sure? He's like, let's go. Boom. And then just start going. Like, and he got knocked through the fence. We paused. He's like, are you good? He's like, my God. God damn it. And we're all just sitting there like, are you good? He's like, I'm fine. Let's go. So it's just one of things, man, where like, and that match, I in my opinion, that clearly, Firefly Funhouse, but the one I like to always talk about is the Boneyard, because that for me, that made me feel like I made it. And it's crazy, like you filming two people have a cinematic match outside throwing dirt, and that made me feel accomplished and vindicated, because like, man, me and the team that I was on were tasked with doing the Undertaker's last match. That is like the greatest film of all time.
Yeah, what an accomplishment, man. After a career like The Undertaker's, to be able to film and then get to witness all that going on, it's incredible, man.
Yeah. I remember telling my friends when it came, I was like, it's about to come on, watch it now.
Yeah. I worked very hard on it. It was like 20 plus hours of work. You better watch it.
but and also, I think the thing about it too that has made it so cool, because the group that we had in NXT, the CIO team, it was myself, Andrew Carr, James Long, who are both still with the company. James Long came from the Impact Wrestling, and he also was a previous wrestler, but he came with Jeremy Borash, and then Josiah Williams, and Chris Huntley, who came later on at the end. But we were like, we were a small little team, but at the beginning, everybody was uncomfortable with us because it was, we're going to make this stuff feel like we want it to be real life. Like, I remember going to people, it's like, I don't want the character, I want the real life. They was like, well, I don't want to talk to you. I was like, hold on. So it's like one of those things. But then once people start to see where we were trying to go, and then also being able to, like, we did all the character pictures and all these cool ideas. Like one time we had MSK wrestling on a green screen on the moon. That's a concept design. Or we were building out an AR thing where we wanted to have an AR app that you can watch wrestling and watch the wrestlers on the side animate. So it was like a lot of things that we wanted to do was like really off the wall. And then once the talent saw that, hey, we're just trying to do cool stuff, then they bought in. Man, it was smooth sailing. Like I remember, like we used to, filming the Finn Balor little promos when he came back to NXT, and then we also had to edit everything too. So it was like, man, we were busy, and I think for what we did at that time, I think the company for them to say, you guys can go do this and you guys can do Taker and Bray, and it was like, oh, like okay, absolutely. That was like, again, like vindicated that we were, we know what we're doing.
Yeah, that's some trophies right there, man.
Easily.
To get picked out of that. So you had to do the editing and all this too.
Oh, so the best thing about the Taker and the Bray stuff is like that was up to Kuntzman and Watts, who are magnificent editors, what you see on a Raw and SmackDown on a weekly basis. But the Adam Cole and like all the other NXT stuff, like we had to do all that. And honestly, us not having to edit the boneyard stuff is actually a blessing. Because, brother, I couldn't imagine the microscope that they were under. But I also thought it was just, the fact that we got to film it. And it was like, it was a crew of us. It was like, CIL team. You had the main roster team, which was like Minter, Dustin, and like a couple of those guys. And it was just like, holy hell. And actually, I will say this. I said earlier, my most important part of my journey was the failure. I'm lying. My most important journey was Roman Reigns Chronicle. Roman Reigns comes back for cancer. Nobody knew that he was coming to the PC. My boss at the time, who left WWE shortly, said, you're going to stay here with Joey. And Joey does all the Chronicle. He's one of the greatest filmmakers ever. You're going to go here. You're going to help Joey with Roman. And you're going to do social coverage. And you're also going to help him. And I was like, mind you, Joe just came back from everything. Nobody knows. And he's leaving from Orlando to go to Georgia, to go to ATL, to go and announce that he's in remission. And him and I, we just talked. We popped because he was doing labs and all these kind of stuff, to make sure that he was okay to get back in the ring and do things because medical was not playing. I remember the first day he came back, they made him wait a whole day to even he was like, no, we're going to do this right. So he came back the second day and it was like Kona Reeves. I forgot who, I think it was like Rich Holland, a couple other people that was in there. But before he went out and got in the ring, he talked about what he's been going through and what his daughters saw him as he was going through and dealing with everything. I think at that moment in time, it made me realize that there's nothing ever in this world I need to complain about when the people are going through real stuff that he was going through. And I think that, along with clearly, stuff that I didn't fulfill, really kind of shaped the perspective of I just need to go ahead and do what I got to do and not complain about a damn thing. But then also, being able to be a part of that and to be on that and to do a lot of things with that whole situation was definitely eye-opener for me.
Man, yeah, that's heavy. That's
heart
heavy.
to heart.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Yeah, I remember. Wife, obviously, big fan of Roman Reigns. I'm a Cody guy. I'm gonna go on and say I'm a Cody guy. I that's my boy. I've followed him everywhere from the beginning in WWE to ROH, New Japan to AEW, and now back to WWE, where I feel he belongs.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I'm a Cody guy, man. I'm hoping that we can finally finish that story at WrestleMania. I know I see you throwing up the ones on Twitter. You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
whoa,
right,
listen,
right, we're gonna have to talk about it a little bit.
I am a Roman acknowledger, right? And but I understand that a story will be finished next Sunday, right? So I understand the realization that a story needs to be finished because Cody has done everything and more, from on camera to behind the scenes to socially to how he carries himself. He's done more than enough to carry the torch as the new face of WWE. And I also think that the story with Roman and him, he doesn't need the title no more, because I think they're going to enter a different realm of their metaverse, of the bloodline multiverse of a Civil War, but that's its own thing. But I think somebody at Cody is a primary example of what a WWE superstar is. He reminds you of what John Cena was doing with the Make-A-Wish and everything that he does. And Cody's he's so socially aware on all fronts of just what is going on in the climate of wrestling, to where he does not crap on the old place that he worked at. He always big up his friends that he had at the other place, but he always amplifies everybody that he works with now too. So, and I know that's hard for him, especially walking out of LA last year, not being able to do it, but he stayed but I'm just saying, this imagine you come back and it's so much, the weight of everything is on your shoulder.
James was at
I was
LA.
there live. Yeah, I bought it last minute, and I just said, I was contemplating. I was at Disneyland, and I was just telling my girlfriend, should I go day 2? Yeah, why not? And then just seeing it live, oh man, it was a heartbreaker, but I understood the context. Hopefully things go.
I turned my phone off. I turned the phone off. I was pissed.
Oh,
bro.
You don't want to know what
pissed.
I heard in the front row section.
Yeah,
but I mean, you know what? I think for Cody, as the general consensus from the crowd was like, no, we want you to finish your story for you and your father, right? That kind of stuff lets you know that, oh yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. When you're looking at live events, it's a packed house, and you got kids dressed as Cody Rhodes, and you can bring them onto the floor and do the wall and put them back, and that made his whole year. That's the guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's the guy. Now, I think in terms of wrestling, right? I think when Roman Reigns returned at, I believe it was that Backlash or SummerSlam, you won't see it coming. It's one of those two. When he returned, I think that changed the dynamic of wrestling. But I think once the fans came back, like once we were able to get back into the house, we also helped change the dynamic of wrestling to kind of see like, hey, we haven't seen you guys in X amount of time. We appreciate you. I can tell you right now, brother, working at Raw, SmackDown, NXT at the PC, and hearing yourself sneeze, brother. After a while, you start going crazy, and even Mania, like. You start going crazy, and then you go down to Tropicana, you start going crazy. And I just commend, the WWE talent because, man, like being able to cut promos and wrestle and do all those things freely as if it's a packed house and it's just you and your dancing partner and the commentary folks and cameramen, like it's not easy. It was not easy. I can tell you that right now. And I worked Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and and it just wasn't easy for me because it's just like, man, because like you get fan interaction, those kind of things help when you put together content pieces and all that. To where now you're just getting, talent just sitting in the locker room, and you can't really be that close to people. You got to have your mask on. So it was a lot of things, and I think coming out of that, to where we get, Roman Tribal Chief stuff like to pick up. We get the stuff with him and Edge and all that cool stuff, but then we get Cody Rhodes coming back the year after, and everything's really rocking and rolling. So I really think, again, I think. For wrestling right now going full circle, I think Cody finishes the story. I think it's time for him to finish the story. And now, listen, I'm one of the biggest Roman Reigns fans of all time, and I will say I think it is time for Cody to do what needs to be done.
Well, I think we're eventually going to get that match, right? Roman versus Rock. That's what it has to be.
Oh yeah,
right?
I think so. That's been a dream for some time.
Yeah, I think next year that's what it happens, man. Roman versus Rock.
I feel like we get some type of dissension on Friday. But here's why. They are entirely too strong right now. They're like outside of like I'm talking about Roman and The Rock. Like they're entirely too strong where it's like you can't have them being that strong and then you can't have them win on Saturday where it's just like Jesus Christ. But I feel like we need some type of dissension between them. It don't gotta be a crazy thing. It could be like a little thing of Roman being like, Paul, I didn't know y'all were going there on Monday. Like something small like that where it's like, oh, okay.
Just building up.
That's sort of because I think once Cody wins next Sunday, Ross can look at him like, you tribal chief for what? I'm high rank. You gonna get behind, and I think that's what's gonna help. Then, because I agree. I think once we get to Mania next year, where we are for 41, it's Roman versus Rock immediately.
It's got to be, man. Man, The Rock beat the shit out of my boy last night, man. I was watching that. I was like, oh, man, they did Cody like that. Like Cody didn't even get a shot in, bro.
But
Rock beat the shit out of him.
I think Rock needed that though. I think he needed some sort of physicality to kind of solidify the final boss moniker, because a lot of his promos and stuff has been edgy, which is totally fine. That's great.
I love it.
But I feel like the physicality helps his personality change. Just being able to talk and shoot is great. But when you can show us you physically are not doing, like, you're not spitting in your hand, you're not doing none of the entertaining stuff. You're really just trying to physically hurt somebody, and then you make them bleed. It's like, oh, okay. And then you took off the belt and it said Mama Rose, and you took Cody's blood and wiped it on it. You looked to the camera and said, Mama Rose, I told you. It's like, yo, Rock, you sick, bro? Hold on.
Wait a minute. Where was this side?
Do that to his mama? Like, yo, how do you feel about that? They actually let some blood show on camera on Monday Night Raw. How does that make you feel about it?
I think it kind of speaks. I think it kind of speaks on how confident that they are in the product, and I think it kind of speaks how confident they are in the talent to be able to portray a certain thing like that. Because I think the hardcore purists and the extremist wrestling fans, they love that tremendously. I have no problem with it, but I also think that if it's almost 11 o'clock. So it reminds you back in the day when it was Raw as War versus Warzone. And it's one of the things where I feel like we're entering at that 10 to 11 o'clock is Warzone. Like The Rock said the F-bomb. Granted, they bleeped it out, but he said the F-bomb too. So it's like, it also shows like, listen, we are very confident in our product. We are selling out consecutive shows. We are going to be who we want to be. We're also going to Netflix. So we're going to do more of this crazy stuff anyway. But I think it just kind of speaks to the belief into the product. And honestly, I'm all for it. I'm all for WWE showing why they are the number one wrestling company in the world and have been and will forever be, because of things like this and because of the talent that they have. So, again, I always tip my hat to Big H and everybody.
How'd you feel when CM Punk came back?
Oh, brother. I'm telling you
That's
right
my
now.
dude too, man.
Oh, man.
CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, man. Look, I almost got banned on Twitter because of CM Punk going and arguing with some. So I'm gonna go on and say it, man. Like
I had to clean up the mess.
I said, James,
And I've seen a lot.
Go clean up my Twitter, man.
This man over here
CM
woke
Punk
me
too
up,
hard
I
out
think
here.
at 6 a.m. Like, hey, you need to get up. Go do this and this.
I said,
I'm like, what did you say?
Go delete some tweets, man. I argue with the wrong people.
I will say this. I think Punk going to AEW and everything happening the way it did needed to happen for his WWE return to be as amazing and as impactful as it was.
Agreed.
If Punk, see, a lot of people don't know these clearly, but like Punk going to Talking Smack and doing all that stuff with Renee and all those folks, they were also looking at potentially bringing him back at that time, right? The world had just about opened back up and all those kind of things were happening. But then that didn't happen, right? So then him going to AEW was perfect because I think he did that more so to show WWE, I can still do this, right? And also, look, do you hear that? I still got them in the palm of my hand. And I think him going on winning the championships, having the stuff that happened backstage, don't even want to get into, negative stuff. But I think that kind of stuff also showed that like he's a different person that he was before. And he's definitely going to stick up for himself, but he's also just about business. And I think him coming back showed like Triple H and WWE, like they're not out here holding personal vendettas. And also, previously H&M said that they would love to work with him again. And I think it was a perfect time. And I think the company needed that extra, extra little shot. Now, granted, without CM Punk, WWE still has top to bottom.
Oh yeah,
generational, right? But
yes.
I think once you add in CM Punk, then that Raw and SmackDown dynamic becomes immediately balanced because you're not having Roman Reigns, being able to pull in 2 million X amount of, ratings views almost every other week or whenever he's able to be there. Now you're able to stack the deck on Raw with the Seth and the Punk and the Drews and everybody of that nature, but then also turn back around on SmackDown and be able to balance it how they have. So I think when Punk returned, I told all my friends, I was like, yeah, he's coming. Because I worked in producing and doing all those kind of things, when they did the zoom out, I had the biggest bag of gummy bears in my hand. I was like, you're ending the pay-per-view, you're in War Games, you don't zoom out, you focus on the winning team, you get that final shot of them doing something. And then everybody migrated to the middle of the cage. And I said, oh no. And then you heard the and I was like, now granted, I knew it was coming, but it's also like they really did this. And it's hearing that pop. That's like, I think that's something too that people don't understand. Like, as a fan, Stone Cold, Rock, H, Shauna, those pops that you hear, you'll never forget them. It's like, oh, remember that one time Stone Cold came out at Backlash when I think got hit by Rikishi. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like those kind of pops you never forget. And what Punk brought, man, and what he brings consistently is like, man, you can't buy that, man. So I'm very happy that he's back. And yes, when that static hit, it was static. It was static in my room because I was going crazy, throwing gummy bears like, So it was incredible, man.
Me and Everything Pro Wrestling, man, we're huge CM Punk fans. Couldn't be more happy to see him back in WWE. I was heartbroken to hear, that he got hurt at the Rumble and couldn't go to WrestleMania, but there's always next year, right? CM Punk isn't ready to quit just yet. So,
I mean, I imagine of Cody, right? Cody not finishing the story last year made you more hungry, made you want him to finish his story this year. And I think Punk having an injury take him out and leaving him off the Mania card in the performing aspect makes you want him just to get it so much more next year, and you want him to main event night one next year even more. So listen, I need him back by SummerSlam. I need him and Big Drew to go ahead and do the do in Cleveland, and then I need him to get ready for that road to WrestleMania, and I need us to put him in a bubble, put him in the biggest bubble possible, because I need him to get his main event of WrestleMania, because like Seth is finally getting his this year. Right. And I want Punk to get his, because it's like guys like that, man, where you watching ROH, you watch him do a lot of different things. I remember watching Punk and freaking TNA and doing all these, like, you want to see those guys finally get like their own validation. Their validation is main eventing the biggest show of the year.
How are you feeling about what Drew's doing lately, man? That boy is bugging. It's so great.
It's his greatest work that he's ever done.
Greatest. Yes.
Yep, we all agree.
Drew McIntyre is doing some of the best work I think he's ever done. And I think it's because I think he's in a better place now, period. Right? Whether he's on the card and everything. And you can tell because when he wasn't, he looked frustrated, like just wrestling, he looked frustrated. But I feel like now he's having fun. And I think that's the thing that I think it's getting contagious around WWE where everybody's just having fun. Like I saw Nia Jax in Tampa, and we were talking. I was catching up with her, and she said, "I'm just having fun. Like I haven't had this much fun in a long time. Like all I care about is just having fun." And that kind of energy is contagious and it resonates on television because Nia Jax, in my opinion, has been the saving grace of the women's division on Monday Night Raw.
She's been great since she's come back.
Yes.
Amazing. Did you see that clip on Twitter of her hanging on the rail and eating popcorn?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
What a pop, dude. That was great.
It's the small things like that give us fans like the fun, cool moment of like, man, that's really cool. Shout out. Yeah. It's just having fun. And I think wrestling for so long was so serious. It was about, oh, well, I need a title to be good. Or, I need this. It's like, what about having fun? And I always tell people house shows, like people are talking about going to Raw, SmackDown, go to a house show. You go to a house show, I promise you will have the most fun. It'll run a little bit lengthy, but you will have the most fun you ever had.
I've been trying to tell this fool to go to a house show forever. He's never been to one. He's been to Mania. He's been to handfuls of Summer
Slams when they were down here in LA.
We went to Survivor Series.
James, you in LA? You in LA? The next
Orange County.
OC, so the next time they got a house show, I will make a phone call to WWE. We're gonna put you at a house show because no, for real. And here's why: because, dude, like it's the most. I promise you, it's so dang fun. It's like
I was gonna try to go to the forum when they had it. It was last minute, and the prices were just skyrocketed, of course. And then that's when the CM Punk news came out. Oh, he's gonna do his first match. And I thought, there's this man. And I was just at the forum for AEW. I was there for. Full Gear, and then this got announced, and I'm like, oh man, just bad timing for me. The wall was empty.
Don't worry, I got you. I promise you. So let me know, Jesse. Let me know next time they're on the schedule, and I promise we're gonna get you out there. And then I'm gonna come back, and we're gonna have a whole show dedicated to how much fun you had at a house show.
I've heard about the house shows.
And they've gotten so much better over the years. Like I've been to tons of house shows. This last one that I went, was it last year, James, that I went to a house show in Spokane? Dude, it was the most fun that I've been to at a wrestling event. It was crazy. The fact
you went in there and the first thing you told me was, "There's this many people in this building."
Oh yeah,
there's wrestling fans.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
You were like, it was sold out. It was making.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, the last one I went to was actually in my town in Kennewick, Washington.
Yeah, Kennewick, that's what it was. And you were it was making headlines like,
I ain't never seen that many people in that building for a wrestling show.
Where were you guys? In this small town.
Well, that just shows the resurgence of wrestling, man. And I love it because it's not like wrestling has changed dramatically. All they did was they kind of loosened the handcuffs on talent to be more humanized and more personable, and then they just let them have fun. And also the in-ring ability with these superstars and these talent is the best that we've ever seen. And now we're getting that matching the characters of superstars that we loved of the past, and now it's all matching together. That's why I think, every show, bro. You go out here to Lakeland, Florida, where it's just a small little town. You just do your little thizzle, do your little thing, and it's sold out. You go anywhere and it's sold out, and I think
Kennewick, Washington.
And we always say, well, it was like that back in Attitude Era. I don't think clearly Attitude Era was not knocking stuff out the park like this, man. Like they are doing some stuff where WrestleMania, you're selling over 40,000 tickets, 50,000 tickets back-to-back nights.
I don't remember the Attitude Era ever building a smaller stage setup
because of how many people they got.
Yeah, because they were selling more tickets for Chicago ever. I don't ever remember that. So yeah, it's
15,000.
I think it was over 15
it was
plus.
Over, yeah.
Even better. Like what?
Unheard of.
If you're following CM Punk's Instagram, it was 85,000.
Breaking merch sales.
Yeah, 85,000 strong in Chicago.
But even that, man, it's like when you got Punk coming back, and he probably felt like in an eggshell, and he's just having fun. And
Yeah.
Seth, now, him and Seth had a conversation prior to him returning, but like they're good. And like people are just having fun and they understand that the business is hot right now. And everybody's just going along for the ride of having a good time. Well, I remember when I think it was the Natty and them. I think it was Natty, or was it Natty or Maxine? But they were talking about how everybody in the locker room is like the most, like on the women's side, it's the most positive and most uplifting and encouraging. And I think that's very true because when Maxine was getting bullied by people at the house show and booing her and all those kind of things, you saw all the women in the locker room come out and support immediately. And I think those kind of things, they might be small to people, but they speak volumes. And they speak volumes when the women that are supporting you are also your dance partners on national television.
That's awesome, man. Speaking of these amazing women on the roster,
Mm-hmm.
Bianca Belair. I want to talk about Bianca Belair and Montez.
We'll talk about my brother and my sister. Which one you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about?
Congratulations to them and you. Obviously, we're speaking to a TV star right now. Loving WWE, man. Hey, how was it? How was it?
That was funny. I gotta give you that. You popped me there. I was not expecting that. Was good. Man, that was life changing. It's a blessing. Again, like I love my brother and my sister tremendously. I've known B since her first match Mae Young won. Same with Tez. I almost called him by his real name. Same with Tez, and they've always been there for me every step of the way. Whether it's like the birth of my kids, the passing of my son, everything, they've been there for me, and they've always had their best interest in heart and always really looked out for me, made me feel cared for and loved. So we were at Montez's birthday gathering over a year or so ago, and they were like, hey, we want to do this show, we want you on it. And I was like, me?
That's cool, man.
You want me? And it's life-changing. And while filming it, which is crazy, right? Reality TV, whatever. But while filming it, I got to be me, got to have a good time, got to just do those kind of things. And there's like more stuff that didn't make the season, which is totally fine. But man, we had some fun, and I think it's just like I'm just proud of them more than anything. Like, those are two individuals that are so selfless and they work so freaking hard. And I feel like the world got a small glimpse of how amazing they are together, but just how powerful they are together. But just also like, I don't think people really saw of how good they are to, to the family, to the crew. That's what we call it. Like La Familia. That's what we call it. So I don't think people understand how good they are to us. Unfortunately, Dogs, our brother, unfortunately lost his mom recently. One of the things that's important to us is being there for each other, and we hold each other accountable as brothers. When somebody's going through something, like you don't send a call or text, you go to wherever they are, you go there and you love on them. And that's, we do the same. And then when Tez unfortunately lost his grandfather, we do the same thing. So like we have that kind of bond and that kind of love for each other. And there are times that we might go a week without talking because they're busy and I'm busy and all that. But then we'll randomly get a call like, hey, y'all want to go to Topgolf? Yeah, we're saying we're going to go to Topgolf at 9:30. Okay, Tess, let's go to Topgolf at 9:30 at night. So we're at Topgolf at 9:30 and we're laughing and joking until they kick us out. And it's as if we just finished talking yesterday. So I love them tremendously. I'm beyond thankful for the opportunity. Please watch Love and WWE. We need that season 2.
Yes, definitely go and watch that. That's an amazing experience too, and to be able to share that with your friends and people that you're close with, man. Like what a moment, right? So
it was crazy, man. I remember, when I was telling my employment people that thou shall not be named on this show. When I was telling them about it, they didn't even really believe me. I was like, oh no, it's true. Like I'm being serious. And then when it came through, I think it was just, for me, it was just like incredible because seeing them on a platform of a reality television where we see the Miz and Maurice do that, we see Total Divas, Total Bellas, but see them in that echelon of like those kind of people, it's like, it's just a proud brother moment where it's like, I love them. I'm glad the world gets to love them, and I'm glad the world gets to see how amazing they are. And man, it was definitely fun. I mean, I had to do a lot of wardrobe changes for some scenes, but it was great.
That's fun, man. That's fun. Yo, are we seeing Bianca versus Jade this year? What's happening? That's what's going on in the leagues, man. People are talking about it. Do you want to see that match?
Not yet.
Not yet. You don't
Not
want to see
yet.
that at Mania?
No, because Bianca is Miss WrestleMania, and she has an undefeated streak at Mania that needs to stay intact. And Jade and Jade is debuting, and you want to somebody of that magnitude that you're amplifying like that, where they're about to debut at Mania. We haven't seen that since Omos. Well, Omos had his first in-ring match with AJ in Tampa against New Day when they beat New Day for the titles at WrestleMania. But Jade that's a whole different scale. We saw her in the Royal Rumble. We have not seen her compete in a singles match or anything else. So I think Jade, in my opinion, I would love to see Jade team with Bianca and Naomi to take on Damage Control. And I feel like that's the easy way to settle her in. And then she can get into the beef with them. And then I feel like Naomi and Jade can tag and get the tag titles from Damage Control. And then I feel like Jade can turn on Naomi later on, which maybe next year or the year after can lead to Bianca and Jade finally doing it.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm with it, man. I'm just ready to see Jade. I'm ready to see Jade.
Yeah, we're all on the edge of our seat.
Yeah, I loved her in AEW, man. Like she was fantastic in AEW, and she really showed what kind of star power she could really.
Oh yes,
she could really bring to the table. And now under the WWE umbrella, man, sky's the limit.
I mean, 10 times your power.
I mean, hell, think about it. At the Rumble, she was in there. Her and Nia had an amazing sequence, about 3 to 4 minutes. That had everybody on their feet, like, oh, right. But then she was in there with Becky. You know, clearly Bianca, Liv, Bailey. She was able to mix it up with them, and she didn't get lost in the shuffle.
No,
at all. Man, granted, clearly you can tell when she came in, there was some time before we saw her. So you clearly know she's been putting in work. Clearly, like it's nothing. There's nothing ever wrong with putting in work, y'all. So for her putting in the work, I think that also made her feel a lot more comfortable to come in and stand across former women's champion, some of them multi-time women's champions, all of them Hall of Famers. So it's like she fit right in, and I think her going to SmackDown is the perfect spot. But I do think, my opinion, when the draft happens, you need to split her and Bianca up because you need Jade to be able to flourish in her own thing without being comparable to somebody else that's on the same show as her. So I think Bianca does need to go over to Raw, let Jade really flourish, let her really grow into her own. And then the next time we see them, it's a collision course on maybe somebody's a champion and somebody wins the Rumble. And then it's like, I want you. I feel like that'll kind of help. But I also really want Bianca to have like and I'm biased. I want her to have like the Undertaker streak. I want her to be completely undefeated at WrestleMania, and that becomes her thing.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yes,
that'd be awesome.
Of course.
So you're with 2K now. You got a lot of responsibilities with an amazing company. We're not going to dive into the actual game itself. Obviously, we've already said that. I just want to make that clear to the chat. No super chats about the video game, but the experience on WWE 2K, you guys have just released WWE 2K24. Obviously, everybody's enjoying the game for the most part. I'm loving the game. It's great. I think it's one of the best games that 2K has released, personally. That's what I'm feeling. I'm loving all the little features. Your responsibilities on this and bringing in content creators from the Next Makers. How did this all come about from you taking over the Next Makers program?
Man, so previously, when I got to the company, whose style shall not be named, joking. But when I got there, I was in marketing, doing a lot of stuff on the live service side of things, and then I got hit up to do a particular show, and they were like, "Hey, why don't you come over fully? You can do that, but also work with influencers and stuff." And I was like, "Absolutely." So then when I came over, I just really just looked around to see what was happening, and I kind of sat back. My guys, Mike and Joe Chuck, were already kind of like leading the ship, and I was like, "Hey, I'm just going. I'm just here if you need me. Let me just sit back and just relax," and which was great. And then I was working on NBA title as well. So it's like as all that happened, things started happening within the company and all that kind of stuff, and then it was just like, yeah, your turn. Like you are leading it. And the first thing I wanted to do was connect with the people that's already in the Next Maker group because it's important to me. Like all those guys are guys, which again, you see. All those guys and girls are very important to me. I have a personal relationship with every single one of them, and I talk to every single one of them as much as I can. But then I also wanted to expand it out because there's a lot of amazing content creators out here. And it's like, hey, if I can work with you, I would be honored. Like, right, honestly, like when Jesse, you and I talked, I'm selling myself to you, like, dude, listen, I would love to work with you. You're also like, it's like, to me, it's like, I'm always a fan. I've always been a consumer before anything. I know what it's like to be on the other side. But I also know how hard you guys are working out here. Not just you, but a lot of different content creators. And I just really wanted to just change the perspective and change the dynamic that there's guys and girls in a program that just that are shields. And I'm like, no, they're not shields, man. Like these guys and these girls, they're honest. And, clearly they don't see our private conversations anymore. But they don't see our private conversations or anything like that, where it's like, we have open communication, right? And I I communicate with the Creation Suite creators who are heavily focused on that about certain type of things. I talk to the hardcore gameplay people, and I also get a general consensus. I check in with you guys every other day, if not every day, and I want to know how you're feeling. So it's more so about me understanding that everything changes, and the appetite for the community that we're in is like, we like these creators. These are the guys and girls that we're behind. Okay, I hear you. Let me go ahead and do what I gotta do. Let me figure it out. So like yourself, the icons, you got, Diva Daddy, you got, the Assemble, of course, Starstruck, Daphne, right? And it's just like, but it's also just like rival. It's like the class this year is like it's a lot, right? And I think that also just speaks to how long overdue it was. It's nothing like, it's not anything like anything before me was wrong. It was just like I was blessed with the opportunity to go ahead and extend out the family, and I'm thankful for that because again, you guys and a lot of you guys and girls, y'all cover this stuff, and y'all are very dedicated. And the least I can do is just say, hey, I would love to work with you. That's the least I can do.
Look, man, I'm gonna be honest. When I first talked with you, I remember, telling my wife, hey, I got this meeting with Cornell. It's my first time meeting him. I'm gonna try to sell my brand to him and see if I can become a 2K. Bro, you didn't even give me a chance to talk. You were reciting some of our old episodes, some like dating back, a year and a half, two. I was like, I didn't even know this fucking guy knew who I was. Like, this is crazy, And well, so I just really appreciate that, man. I think that everybody should know that about you, is that you are in tune with the community. You know what's going on, and you really do see everybody that's out there. And
yes,
and you do stay in touch with everybody, man. You've been nothing but helpful. I'm still in a short stint in the Next Makers group, man, and you've provided so much for us 2K as well, and I think people should know that about you, man. Like you're a good dude, and what you do behind the scenes it should be praised more. And I appreciate you.
I think my thing is, man, is like, as long as I always say but the group of creators and influencers that I'm blessed to work with, as long as you guys are happy, then I'm good, man. It's like I take I really take joy in working with you guys and being able to actually, hey, what's your goals and what are the things you want to what do you want to accomplish. And it's important for us to accomplish those things because I feel like anybody in a partnership, there's always a goal, right? Yeah. Somebody has a goal here in a partnership and it needs to get achieved. But then also, it's not every day that people ask you, hey, what do you really want to do? How can I help you? And those kind of conversations are very refreshing because then the person that's receiving that knows that you care. So it's just like, again, it's important to me to work with all you guys and girls, and important to me to watch all you guys grow, and it's important to me to be a resource for you guys to help you guys grow any way, shape that I can. Rather, it's like, and I think the thing is like, we talked about this before we went live. It's like, it's important to me to change up what the norm is, right? Like, you guys are amazing at being able to entertain us from a show perspective. Like, you're talking about wrestling, recapping wrestling, talking about video games, anything. It doesn't matter. That's your superpower. Whereas we have other people like Icon, their superpowers get creating amazing things inside of a video game. And you have other people like Simply Better, who's amazing at being able to be a personality, right? For those kind of things. Or BDE, who's an amazing brand ambassador for anything that he touches, right? And it's like, everything in this world is very diverse and it varies and has different dynamics. So should the group of people that I'm blessed to work with, right? Like everybody should have different walks of life to where everybody can learn something from each other. That's a group, that's a family, and that's ultimately the goal of where I'm trying to go.
I love too that you're trying to change the perspective on what the 2K Next Makers program really is, because bringing in people like the Icons, bringing in a Symbol, bringing in Daphne, you know what I mean? Like it's a very diverse group, and it's incredible to see that it's not just people out here on YouTube.
No.
Or people out here on Twitch, you know what I mean? It's people that are in the community, and I think that is very important. And couldn't be more happy. A Shy Guy, forgot to even bring up Shy Guy. Shy Guy, an amazing. If you guys have not checked out, Shy Guy is in the chat right now. So if you guys have not, go and check out his channel, man. He has some really cool promo packages, video packages for WWE, AEW. Just go and check it out.
Everything.
Incredible work. Yeah. Incredible work.
You get a diversity of everything, from just watching the shows, from playing the games, call creators. I mean, obviously you got Jesse, you got Assemble, you even got Johnny from New Legacy, fantastic stuff, by the way. I know you've had interactions with him.
James is a huge fan of the New Legacy. Like every year that the 2K videos drop from the events, he's like, hey, here's New Legacy's new video. He's the only person that he's sending me. Hey, here's New Legacy. Yo, have you checked out Assemble? Here's New Legacy.
Well, you know what? I'm the same way. And I think one thing I do want to hit on before I jump into how much I love, Tony, John, and everybody over there, Pulse and everybody was, the first thing I said to you, Jesse, when we talked was like, I don't want to change who you are. I want you to be who you are. I want you to stay the same. And I'm like, if you ever, I'm like, even if like you shade a little bit to the right, I'm like, hey, bro, what you doing? This is not fully you. So I want people to understand that like anybody within the program, I encourage that thing. That's the first thing I say to anybody. Even people that were in the program before I got here, it's like, stay who you are. Always be yourself. And I always tell people, you're always valid on how you feel. Always say what's up. Always let me know. If some stuff stinks, let me know. We'll figure this stuff out. On the other reason, I do want to stress that, it's like, because a lot of people will have this thing where it's like, oh, yes. No, there's nobody's a yes man. Nobody's a shield. Everybody's their own person. If they enjoy it, just let them enjoy it. But you might not know. There might be something that they don't enjoy that they did communicate about. And just because they're not doing it on a public platform or doing it publicly to your satisfaction, don't mean that they're yes men. But over to New Legacy, yes, man. Listen, I've been watching our group for so long, and the thing that moved me is about when they were doing charity streams.
Yes,
and that was at the time I was at WWE, and I remember Dakota and all them jumped on, and I was so damn jealous. That's probably the only curse what I say. But I was so damn jealous because I wanted to help in some way, shape, or form. I wanted to be on the stream because of how amazing it was. And like, I told Johnny all the time about how much I love everything that they do and everything they stand for. And I think they are a pillar in the community of showing that, like, they're not like everybody else. They're not out here trying to be more than just, man, we love this game. We're going to have a good time. Yo, hit record. Yo, you got the Elgato going. Let's just have a good time. And I think that kind of stuff also matters because we talked about diversity, right? And they're legends, right? I mean, look at what they're doing. Freaking DPW. Like, like the boys are back in town, right? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, again, I'm a beyond just this. I'm a big fan of everybody. So clearly, you guys, from Shy Guy to Assemble to everybody. And I think it's just, I'm excited to work with everybody, and I'm more excited because next year when you guys become, a year into the program and everything's all cool, and then we get the new wave of people, then they can look to you guys like, hey, it's like, how do I maneuver in this program? Like, what are a couple of things that I can do? Like, then you guys start to lead. And next thing you know, 2 years go, 3 years go, next thing you know, then you guys become the vets. And I always look at life as like, if I'm ever in a situation, I would do my best, and I will always do it as well as I can to treat somebody how I would want them to treat me. No, sorry, treat somebody how I would treat them, right? So like, I look at people, I was like, dude, like, I'm always gonna treat you with most respect. I want you to treat me that way. And that's kind of how that's my whole mindset and my whole philosophy on how I interact with creators, and it's how I want them to be within the program.
It's been a blessing, man. I think I just seen a comment. There you go. Shattered. Also, 2K Next Makers.
My
I think
guy.
best way to describe the Next Makers is versatile. A whole bunch of different guys doing different things, but all with the same end goal. And that's
100%.
Great way to put that, man. And yeah, it's been a blessing, man. Like I said, you blew me away when I first met you. You know, I didn't know that. You know, I was like, hey, you know, I know Cornell follows us, you know, on social media, but I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna see what's up.
It's crazy because I was actually already on your way. I was on the way to you already.
Yeah. I guess I just got impatient. Hey, let me see what's up with this 2K Next Maker thing, man. I hit you up.
Let me shoot my shot.
I think I got like 3 words in there when Cornell's just selling me on the program, right? Like he's totally telling the truth on that. And the only thing I could say is, sounds good, bro. Sounds yes, let's do it. It sounds good, bro.
Sign here.
I'm not gonna lie. I walked there for the conversation. I was like, dang. I'm like, I hope he liked it. I'm like, did I try too hard there?
I walked out. My wife's like, so how'd it go? And I was like, I don't know. I'm in.
Man, absolutely.
Like, that's great.
Man.
That's great.
Absolutely, man. It's like, you know, the program it's not a cool kids club and all. I mean, there's of course everybody in it is phenomenal. It's not cool kids. It's not anything like that. We are a group of caring individuals that's passionate about the things that we love, and we walk life differently in terms of content creation. But we all, just like Shadow said, all have the same goal. So I think it is. Yeah, again, it is. It's nice to be important. It's even important to be nice. Yes, exactly. And it's also just important to be accountable and be available for people as well. I think that's also one thing we learned. Like the other day, one of the creators, you know, talked about being upset, being sick, you know, those kind of things, right? And oh man. I mean, hey,
may have shed a tear. It's because I did not know what the hell was going on.
Butterflies in his stomach.
Dude, like I'm telling you, bro, like I care. I watch so much. Like I would not call him Dr. Gorilla nothing. I would say, you know, I watched those guys. I watched Icons for a long time, and I even had online back and forth banter with them. And I just was like, man, like, am I able to go do? And they was like, it's yours. I said, oh, okay. All right. And it was just like, man, all right, Shattered, hold on. Hold on. Look, I'm doing it. We're doing it.
I got you, Shattered. Yo,
Yeah.
man, Shattered made this amazing, two amazing cause for us to play on that My Rise. And put mine and James's face in there. I'm not going to say that the body types were anything short but accurate.
Gut.
No,
Oh,
but yeah, man, shout out to Shattered, man. Good guy he is.
Shattered,
really appreciate him.
Shattered, I'm about to follow you right now. Okay, I'm sorry that I did not do this previously, but we are moving towards the right direction right now.
This is the path of healing. This is the path of
It
healing.
only took like 2 years.
Listen, so listen. The thing about me, man, even people talk about like me following, because I remember Jesse was like, "Bro, you're tripping. You're doing on the follows free." The reason why I do it is because, man, I look at it as like if people want to communicate, and that's the only thing I'll say about this thing because I cannot say anymore. If people want to communicate, right? I love just being available for people. I tell people, I'm not above nobody. I'm certainly not below nobody. We're all on the same playing field. We're all right here. And that's how I walk through life with. And, you know, I want to make myself, well, I was previously making myself available for everybody and those kind of things. But so, man, it's important to me. So like a follow for me, it's like, okay, like not a problem. But yeah, so, all right, back to Shattered. I'm sorry, Shattered. I apologize. My bad, Sean.
Hey, I only said that, man, because I did that at the beginning of Twitter. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna follow everybody back. You know, everybody kind of, whoa, that was a bad idea.
All those follow trains and
wife comes around the corner. What you looking at? I
don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like playing the SmackDown versus Raw, and here comes the pain, and the Tori Wilson screen, loading screen pops up, and your parents walks by, and you're like, it's really not what you think. Like it's just loading. Like I'm innocent. Bro, it literally happened to me, and my mom was like, "Boy, what is?" I'm like, "Mom, it's just wrestling. You know, Tori Wilson, stop playing, man." I'm like, and then they said, "Ding, ding." I said, "See, all right." So yeah, it was definitely
that's great, man.
It was definitely one of those things where it's like, "Mom, sorry, please, no, stop." But nah, man, I you know, growing up, it's like man, Here Comes the Pain and all those kind of games, but like clearly like everybody else were great. But then like during the story, certain like season mode, when you had to do like the bra and panties and those kind of things, I could not complete those matches while my mother was out here looking and watching, because absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Nope.
Schoolgirl outfits and everything.
No, absolutely shattered. Okay, listen, now you're trolling me. So all right, hold on, dog, because I had it and then it went away. Hold on, so like I don't know if anybody ever experienced this on Twitter. When y'all search somebody's name and then their name pops up and then it's like vanishes and you're like, I know you're right there, and then all of a sudden doesn't want to come back anymore. Does that happen to anybody else? Okay, no.
Yeah, it happens as soon as I block them.
During those rants,
man.
Like, listen. Oh, this guy wanted to follow. Yeah, sure, man. I got you.
He says something. Let me retweet him, and then I'll say, then I'll block him.
Shatter. Hold on. Here, hold on, bro. Send me your account
at Shattered Cause.
Yeah, bro. See, I had it up, but it wasn't doing what I needed to do. It wasn't
Shattered. It just wasn't meant to happen, bro. You know what I mean,
bro? Because like, so when I pull it up, it's just blank. It's just blank.
You sure he's not blocked?
Yeah.
By accident.
You tried to follow. You tried
I
to
got
follow
it.
him. And block you.
We are here. We are here now. Hold on. Yeah. And they see that picture. And we are here now.
We've just made this whole end of the interview all for you, Shattered, just to get a follow. I hope that this was all worth it, man. This is all going up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Guys, go follow Shattered Cause. He's a great artist.
Yes,
he conducted this entire podcast.
Yeah, it was his idea for the last 4 years.
All I'm gonna say is that he better do a super chat. That's all I'm gonna say. He better do a super chat.
Calling you out, Shattered. Calling you out. I'm expecting that.
No. Hold on.
Hold on. Let me log off.
He said,
before we bounce out of here, man, what's the goal for Mr. Cornell in 2024 going into 2025? What's the goals?
Goal is to honestly, hopefully by the end of the year, I can check in with the new class of next year. I mean, it's tremendously. I can check in with everybody, and it's like, hey, how did I do, and how was everything? And my goal is for everybody to say, this was an amazing experience. I can't wait for next year, because it's important. It's important for me to work with everybody. It's important for me to give you guys and girls the resources and the tools to really elevate to what you guys want to do. So like, Jesse, like we talked about stuff that it's like we're going to get to work on immediately for you. And my goal is by the end of the year, you being like, nah, that was dope. Like, hell yeah, I can't wait to, go into the next year type of situation. So that's my goal. And that's just like, that's just honestly, like, I don't got no hidden agendas. Like, I don't care about. I'm not out here to try to get myself over. I'm not out here to be a Twitter troll. I'm not out here to be a personality for any company. I really care about the creators and the folks that I work with, and that's it. Really, like not saying I don't care about nothing else, but my priority is the creators and the guys and girls that I get to work with on a daily basis. Like you guys are my priority, so that's all.
It's awesome, man. Where can they find you at on Twitter? Where can you follow people at?
Man, listen, after Mania, I'm gonna go dark for a little bit. I'm gonna delete the Twitter app.
All right, LeBron.
Listen, I love him, so I'm gonna have to go 0 dark 30.
Yeah,
but at Cornell Gunter _ on all platforms. But yes, after WrestleMania, if you see my account, like my profile picture is black and it's blacked out, I'll be back in the summer or something. I'll be going. Yeah. There
you go, man. Cornell, you're going to be at WrestleMania. You're. Yes. I wanted to get that in there too. What is it? What is it? Well, Mania.
Oh God, yes, Wale Mania. I will be.
Wale Mania. Yes.
I'll be there on my own accord. This is not an event for brought to you by the company that I work for. It's me on my own accord doing a fun thing with my good friend Wale, Kaz, and everybody from that nature. And it's a good time. And then, also if you are in Philly, head over to WWE World. There's a nice tournament happening for a video game title that's happening that Thursday at WWE World that night. So please be sure to head over there. But yeah, man, it's just it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be rocking and rolling. A lot of very busy, but I'm excited for Philly. I'm really excited for wrestling. I'm really excited to see Shayna at Bloodsport. By the way, I really want to go see that. So I'm trying to and have two places at one time.
I think you're cutting out there a little bit.
Oh no! Well, the most important thing is that I am excited to go see Shayna Baszler at Bloodsport.
There you go. There you go. Gotcha.
There you go.
You were like lagging out. I heard the Bloodsport part, but then it started lagging out. It's like, oh wait, what? No WWE? All right. Hold on.
Come on now. Come on.
I'm excited that WWE is allowing people to branch out, man, and do some stuff like that. I wish that all companies would work together like that. So
yeah,
it's
H, man. H.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Tony Khan's done that too, clearly with the Stardom.
Oh,
New Japan, all that kind of stuff too. But
Yep.
I think for WWE, because I mean, granted, we saw Charlie Dempsey do some stuff already in Japan earlier this last year. I think Shayna going to Bloodsport, it's like wow, because of just the magnitude and the matches that they do there, but also it fits her, right? And also that's like her old stomping grounds anyway. She's done stuff like that all the time previously in NBC before she fully crossed over to NXT. But again, I'm very excited to just see wrestling, man. You also got Supercard out there happening at the same time, so it feels good to be a wrestling fan, like very, very good. And I feel like we're entering back into the sway of things like it was before COVID happened, where so much stuff is happening during WrestleMania week, where you have so many shows. I remember when Impact and Lucha Underground did like a midnight show one time in New Orleans and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited. It's
big, man. It's big. Well, Cornell, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you for coming on and doing this interview.
Come on,
hopefully we could do it. Hey, look, you put me over enough, man. You know what I mean? Like you put me over. Let me put you over. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Twitter king over here. Like I got a TV star, global marketing, next maker, just amazing dude, man. You deserve your flowers. Thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully we could do this again, guys. You can follow us everywhere at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. You already know the deal, and we'll catch you later. Take it easy. Pro Wrestling!